Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. And as you can see, we're back at Mosley Mill. And we're actually continuing with the Century Hill videos. And so this is the next installment of that. I want to show you a trench that was a replica trench, that is, of the World War. And there you can see billboards. You can pause the video if you want to read those. But I will read this caption here to you. It says, the Mosley Mill site was one of the training areas for both the South and Central Antrim volunteers prior to the outbreak of war. Both the 11th and 12th battalions of the 36th Ulster Division were formed from these volunteer forces. In September 1914, the Ulster Division was formed from the Ulster Volunteer Force, which raised 13 battalions for the three Irish regiments based in Ulster: the Royal Enniskillen Fusiliers, the Royal Irish Fusiliers and the Royal Irish Rifles. And there it says about a frontline trench. So you can pause the video if you want to read any of those. And this says, soldiers in the 12th Battalion, Royal Irish Rifles, Central Antrim Volunteers, 1915. And this one here says, sniper in operation. And then this one is soldiers in the 11th Battalion, Royal Irish Rifles, South Antrim Volunteers, 1915. But it's this sketch here that I want to show you, because this is Tom McKinney's sketch of the trenches. Tom was the grandson of William F. McKinney of Century Hill, Carmoney. And of course, William was the photographer of the family. It says Tom lost his life through the injuries he suffered at the Battle of the Somme in 1916. And if you remember in the video that I done up in Century Hill, I said about Tom losing his life through shrapnel that was embedded in his thigh. So there's another board here. And that says the trenches. That's a group of soldiers at Epsom Training Camp, Surrey, 1915. And then that one there is Lawford Campbell, grandson of John Campbell, who was killed in the First World War. The Campbell family made their mark on Mosley Mill between 1859 and 1978. But we have an actual photograph here of Tom McKinney with fellow soldier John McElwain. Tom lost his life through the injuries he suffered, of course, in the front line at the Battle of the Somme in 1916. And I think Tom's the one on the left, don't quote me on that, but I'm near enough sure Tom's the one on the left. But he's one of those two gentlemen. And it says there, Tom McKinney bereavement card. Thomas George McKinney, Private, 20th Battalion, Royal Fusiliers. He was wounded 3rd of July and he died 19th of July 1916. There you are. And then that's a letter home from Tom McKinney of Century Hill. So you can check out the playlist. I'll be putting these in with a playlist of Century Hill. And you'll get it under the title of, I'm trying to remember what title I put that under. Yes, I think it was the Jacobite Unionists of Century Hill, so you'll get it under that playlist. But there you can see a typical day in the trenches. So what I'm going to do now is take you in and show you a replica trench. Now, this is the Campbell Memorial Garden. Now, I have done a wee video before on those boards and here, but that gate was locked the last time I was here. But as you can see, it's wide open today, so we're going to go in. You can see the wee stream that runs down there, the wee river. Lovely, isn't it? And a wee bit of a waterfall as well, as you can see. So this is excellent. This is a replica trench you're going to be seeing. So you can see a soldier there, and it says, in memory of all those from the borough of Newton Abbey who give their lives for freedom during 2 world wars, 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945. And it was unveiled by the worshipful, the Mayor of Newtonabbey, Alderman Fraser Agnew. 30th of May 2014, we will remember them. And if you remember too, it was Fraser Agnew who planted the tree for Tom, if you remember, up in Century Hill, and I showed you the tree that he planted. So this is nice, isn't it? You can see the sandbags there, which outline this wee park, and even here as well. That's Steeple Tower there. And again, more soldiers on the front line. And it says there, all give some and some give all, lest we forget. And then we text at John 15 verse 13. Some nice flowers there too, isn't there? As you can see. And that's another wee soldier there. I'll go down and have a wee look at this one. And it says, there, but not there. And then another wee summer seat as well, with soldiers on it and a few puppies. So I'm going to take you round here and show you this trench, this replica trench. There's a wee dog. Hello. Hello, boy. Hello, boy. How you doing? So this is the trench, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, isn't this pretty amazing? That's a replica trench of the First World War. You can see the sandbags there. And the stakes, and also the metal, the tin, and the ramp there. Of course, when you were in there for weeks and months with the dead and dying, the smell would have been atrocious. It's said that they never got the smell away from them. Even after the war was over, the smell, the stench still stayed with them. But great to have this, isn't it? Now you can see a headstone, and it says, a soldier of the Great War. That's amazing, isn't it? Great to get in here today. As I say, the last time I was here, it was all locked up and I couldn't get in. It's certainly great to get in today. There you can see the ladder to let the men up. And of course, as soon as you put your head above the parapet, you always had that chance of it getting blew off with a shell or with a bullet. Isn't that amazing? So there's a billboard here as well. I'm not going to read all this out to you. I'll read a wee bit, but you can pause it if you want to read the rest. But I'm going to mention these. That's the trench ladder, which you saw there a moment ago. to traverse the fire step. So there's the trench ladder. I would assume that's the traverse there, and then you can see the fire step there where the men would have stepped up to be able to fire over the top there. And then that's the trench boards that they walked on, and also the sandbags, and you can read that there yourself. So it says the trenches, Campbell Memorial Garden. The Mausley Mill site was one of the training areas for both the South and Central Antrim volunteers prior to the outbreak of war. Later became home to a linen mill where the Campbell family ran their flax spinning business for more than a century. And I showed you their son who was killed, a photo of him. It says, sadly, their son Lawford was killed in action during the First World War, and their other son John tragically lost his life in 1945 in an aircraft accident. World War I introduced one of the ugliest and fiercest forms of fighting, trench warfare. Trenches were built along the Western Front to provide shelter while making it extremely dangerous for the enemies to attack the front line. Behind the trenches was a massive supply lines, training establishments, stores, workshops, headquarters, and all the other elements of the 1914 to 1918 system of war. And of course, trench warfare didn't come in with the World War I, because if you remember at Petersburg in the American Civil War, I think it was 1864 or 1865, I can't remember exactly, but Grant used trench warfare, and also what he introduced as total warfare, in other words, war on the civilian population as well. And then it says this replica trench was constructed in 2014 as part of the First World War commemorations, and is a fitting memorial to over 300 men from Newton Abbey who lost their lives during the conflict. So there you go. So I'll give you another view here of the trench. As you can see. And then we'll wrap this wee video up. Wee bit longer than my normal videos, but not every day you get to see a replica trench, isn't it? So there you go, folks. So thanks for watching, and God bless.